Good morning, everyone. So for today, we were going to discuss to you the chapter 3, which entitled as Diversity and Multiculturalism. So the first topic is hiring multicultural. But before we proceed to the topic or the lesson, let me discuss to you first on what is hiring multicultural and multicultural. Hiring multicultural refers to the practice of actively seeking and employing individuals from diverse cultural backgrounds within an organization. This goes beyond simply meeting diversity quotas. It involves creating an inclusive environment where people from various cultures feel valued, respected, and empowered to contribute their unique perspective and experience. While ang multicultural is characterized by a wide range of cultural backgrounds, ethnicities, and beliefs. This diversity enriches the social fabric and fosters a vibrant exchange of ideas and perspectives. So in this slide, I will read the text for better and deeper understanding about hiring multicultural. On a Tuesday afternoon, as you are getting ready to go to lunch, you receive an email from your human resources or HR manager about the need to hire a new project manager. And there is a $500 bonus for referring a friend who successfully joins the company. Immediately, you email your friend Danielle because you know he will be great for the job. Danielle is eventually hired for the position, and a few months later, a new email goes out asking for friend recommendation for a new position. You and Danielle both recommended someone, and eventually, that person gets hired. Over the next year, hiring notices are not advertised externally, as the organization has had good luck with this hiring practice. Seems like a great way to recruit new people, doesn't it? It can be, but it also can be a detriment to the diversity and multiculturalism of the workplace. How, you might wonder? While not true across the board, people have a tendency to spend time with people who are likely themselves in race, income level, and other aspects of diversity such as sexual orientation. In fact, according to the National Institute of Child Health and Human Development in a study published in the American Journal of Sociology, it is much more likely that someone will name a person in their own race as a friend than someone of a different race. Likewise, even from a young age, people tend to choose friends who are of the same race. As a result, when you recommend Danielle for a position, it is highly like that Danielle is similar from a diversity perspective to you. Then, when Danielle recommends someone for a job, it is highly likely that he too is recommending someone with similar characteristics as you both. This obviously creates a lack of multicultural diversity in the workplace, which can mean lost profits for companies. The text discusses how referrals, although efficient for recruitment, can unintentionally restrict diversity in a workplace. Referring friends for jobs is beneficial as it saves time and resources by vouching for their skills and work ethic. However, the downside is that people tend to refer those similar to themselves, leading to a lack of diversity in the workforce. This cycle of recommending similar individuals can result in a workforce that is not representative of the broader population. Studies show that people are more likely to befriend those of the same race, further emphasizing the lack of diversity. It highlights the importance of being mindful of biases in referrals and actively maintaining diversity in the workplace. So, the next topic is diversity and multiculturalism. Diversity and multiculturalism, though commonly conflated, possess unique characteristics. Diversity encompasses the various distinctions among individuals such as race, gender, sexual orientation, religion, and background. On the other hand, multiculturalism delves deeper into fostering inclusivity, understanding, respect, and addressing societal power differentials. A notable report underscored that diversity initiatives in workplace are frequently ambiguously defined, compliance oriented, and excessively fixated on gender and ethnicity as perceived by HR managers. The text distinguishes between diversity and multiculturalism, highlighting that diversity refers to a wide range of human differences within a society or organization, while multiculturalism emphasizes inclusivity, understanding, respect for all cultures, and addressing societal power differentials. Diversity initiatives aim to promote equal treatment for all individuals but may lack clear goals, focus on compliance, and overlook aspects like sexual orientation and religion. Multiculturalism challenges power structures to create a more equitable society by recognizing and dismantling systems of privilege and oppression. The text argues that power and privilege play a significant role in shaping society. Some groups, based on their race, gender, or sexual orientation, have historically held more power and influence, leading to societal standards and regulation that favor them. Multiculturalism aims to challenge these power structures and promote a more equitable society. Is power and privilege. Diversity highlights individual differences and aims for equal treatment through policies, while multiculturalism addresses the societal advantages linked to race, gender, and sexual orientation known as power and privilege. This system favors a particular race, gender, and sexual orientation in establishing societal standards and regulation. The interesting thing about power and privilege is that if you have it, you may not initially recognize it, which is why we can call it invisible privilege. Here are some examples. First, race privilege. Let's say you, a Caucasian, and your friend, an African American, are having dinner together, and when the bill comes, the server gives you the check. While this may not seem like a big issue, it assumes you, being a Caucasian, are the person paying for the meal. This type of invisible privilege may not seem. Second is parental involvement in education. Parents from higher socioeconomic backgrounds often have the time and resources to be actively involved in their children's education, providing them with additional support and opportunities. Third is gender privilege. This refers to privilege one gender has over another. For example, the assumption that a female will change her name to her husband's when they get married. Fourth is sexual orientation privilege. If I am heterosexual, I can put a picture of my partner on my desk without worrying about what others think. I can talk about our vacations together or experiences we've had without worrying what someone might think about my relationship. This is not the case for many gay, lesbian, and transgendered people and their partners. Another important aspect of power and privilege is the fact that we may have privilege in one area and not another. For example, I am a Caucasian female, which certainly gives me race privilege but not gender privilege. Important to note here is that the idea of power and privilege is not about white male bashing, but understanding our own stereotypes and systems of advantage so we can be more inclusive with our coworkers, employees, and managers. The next topic is why diversity and multiculturalism. When many people look at diversity and multiculturalism, they think that someone's gender, skin color, or social class shouldn't matter. So diversity can help us with policies to prevent discrimination, while multiculturalism can help us gain a deeper understanding of differences between people. Hilton, a prominent player in the hotel industry, operates in 84 countries with 3,750 hotels and a workforce of 130,000 employees. The company places a strong emphasis on diversity and inclusion within its operations. This commitment is evident through the presence of a Director of Global Diversity and Inclusion who spearheads Hilton's diversity and inclusion initiatives, focusing on culture, talent, workplace, and marketplace diversity strategies. Each Hilton brand is responsible for establishing its diversity performance goals and initiatives, overseen by a diversity council comprising the company's board of directors, CEO, and vice president of human resources. The Diversity Council is actively involved in monitoring and managing 30 or more diversity initiatives at any given time within the organization. Hilton has implemented diversity programs in communities where its hotels are located. This includes outreach programs to educate minority and female entrepreneurs for franchise investments with invitation-only seminars on successful hotel ownership. Hilton aims for its employees to mirror the diversity of its customers. Hilton partners with historically black colleges and universities for recruiting. In addition to their outreach program, they have a supplier tracking system to monitor supplier payments and diversity, with a focus on female and minority suppliers. The Vice President emphasizes the importance of leadership in making diversity initiatives successful. Hilton, a global hotel chain, demonstrates its commitment to diversity and inclusion through a multi-pronged approach. A dedicated director of global diversity and inclusion leads efforts across culture, talents, workplace, and marketplace strategies. Each Hilton brand sets its own diversity goals, overseen by a diversity council composed of board members, the CEO, and the vice president of human resources, who actively manage over 30 diversity initiatives. Hilton extends its commitment to the community by offering programs to encourage franchise investment among minority and female entrepreneurs. Recognizing the importance of employee diversity, Hilton aims to reflect its customer base by partnering with historically black colleges and universities for recruitment and offering outreach programs. Furthermore, Hilton utilizes a supplier tracking system to prioritize female and minority-owned suppliers, ensuring diversity throughout its supply chain. The Vice President of Human Resources emphasizes the critical role of leadership in driving the success of this initiative. Multicultural workplaces are linked to increased profitability. Research by Cedric Herring, Scott Page, and studies of Fortune 500 companies show that diverse teams generate higher sales, customer bases, market shares, and profits. This is attributed to diverse perspectives fostering innovative problem solving. As Eric Foss, the CEO of Pepsi Beverages Company, emphasizes, diversity is not just a box checking exercise, but a vital business strategy. Next is diversity plans. The culture of operations of a company play a significant role in fostering a multicultural environment alongside following state and federal laws. Many companies have formal anti-discrimination and harassment policies in place, such as ZAPUS, which emphasizes equal opportunity and prohibits illegal discrimination and harassment, including derogatory comments and unwelcome sexual advances. These policies are usually outlined in the Employee Handbook of Guidance. The implementation of policy is just the first step. What really matters is how the company follows through on those formalized processes. Actions speak louder than written policies. For example, a company may have policy on inclusion for those with disabilities. But if important networking and relationship building activities occur on the golf course, it could exclude these individuals with disabilities. Similarly, a company with a Beer Pride Day tradition may unknowingly discriminate against those who cannot drink alcohol due to their religious beliefs. These instances may not be over discrimination, but they can contribute to a culture that is exclusive rather than inclusive. Many organizations have implemented diversity management plans aligned with their written diversity policies. Larger organizations like Hilton have established manager or director level positions dedicated to managing diversity plans and programs. Researcher Josh Greenberg suggests that Organizations with specific diversity plans can bring about changes more efficiently compared to those without such plans. While legal compliance is crucial, creating a truly multicultural workplace requires a company's internal culture and practices to reflect its commitment to inclusion. Formal policies like those at Zappos are a starting point, but consistent action is key. Unintentional exclusion, like holding networking events on the golf course or having Wear Fridays, can undermine even the best policies. Implementing diversity management plans and dedicated leadership positions, as seen in companies like Hilton, can help bridge the gap between policy and practice. Research suggests that organizations with specific diversity plans are more effective in enacting change, emphasizing the importance of aligning daily actions with written policies. While legal compliance is crucial, creating a truly multicultural workplace requires a company's internal culture and practices to reflect its commitment to inclusion. Formal policies like those at Zappos are a starting point, but consistent action is key. Unintentional exclusion, like holding networking events on the golf course or having Wear Fridays, can undermine even the best policies. Implementing diversity management plans and dedicated leadership positions, as seen in companies like Hilton, can help bridge the gap between policy and practice. Research suggests that organizations with specific diversity plans are more effective in enacting change, emphasizing the importance of aligning daily actions with written policies. Next is recruitment and selection. In diversity and multiculturalism, organizations may unknowingly engage in discriminatory and illegal practices. For instance, job ads showing preference for a specific group or relying on word of mouth recruitment can lead to lack of diversity. To combat this, post job announcement in various places to attract a diverse pool of applicants. In selection, the 4/5 rule can help assess discrimination in selection practices. If the selection rate of group is less than 4/5 of the highest rate, it may indicate adverse impact where seemingly neutral practices has discriminatory effects. Achieving diversity and multiculturalism within organization requires vigilance, especially during recruitment and selection. Unintentional discrimination can occur through job ads that favor specific groups of word of mouth recruitment, limiting applicant diversity. To combat this, organization should post job announcement widely and use inclusive language. Even seemingly neutral selection practices can have discriminatory effects, as evidenced by the 4/5 rule, which identifies potential bias if a group selection rate is less than 80% of the highest rate. Organizations must be mindful of potential biases throughout the hiring process, using inclusive practices and tools like the 4/5 rule to promote a diverse and equitable workforce. Next topic is testing. Employment tests must directly relate to the job. For instance, if using a personality test in hiring, ensure it's non-discriminatory. Reasonable accommodation like interpreters should be granted if not a financial burden. Consider how tests may exclude certain groups like non-native English speakers. Further discussion on multiculturalism and testing in selection, page 112. Fairness and inclusivity are key when using employment tests. Tests must be directly aligned with job requirements, be non-discriminatory, and consider reasonable accommodation for applicants with disabilities. Cultural consideration like language barriers, should be addressed to prevent exclusion. Further discussion in the selection section likely delves into multicultural challenges in testing. Employers should prioritize test relevance, fairness, and accessibility for all applicants, irrespective of background or disability. For the last topic is pay and promotion. Development of policies related to pay and promotion is key to fairness in a multicultural situation. It is widely published that women make about 77% of what men earn for similar jobs. Many studies have tried to determine a cause for this pay inequity. Here are some of the possible reasons studied and researched. First is hours work. Studies have said that women tend to work fewer hours because of childcare and housework expectations. Second is stereotypes. The concept of male bias is a possibility. In many studies, people were more likely to choose male doctors over female doctors, even when experience and education were the same. There appears to be a perception that men may be more competent in certain types of jobs. Third is maternity and family leave. Women leaving the workforce for a short or extended period of time may affect the perception of promotability in the workplace. Fourth is salary negotiation. A study performed by Bowles and Babcock showed that men were 8 times more likely to negotiate salary than women. In addition, when women did negotiate, they received lower monetary returns. Consider a study performed by Cornell University which found that women were often negatively affected in their job when they negotiated salary as compared to men not being viewed negatively after negotiations.
So, good day everyone. So, the continuation of our report. So, know what? This passage emphasizes the importance of creating multicultural workplace starting with the diversity plan. The diversity plan is the first step is promoting inclusivity, ensuring that the workplace reflects a variety of cultural backgrounds. So the second step involves examining the human resources department's operations to identity-specific actions that can foster diversity. This could include revising recruitment practices, implementing training programs, and creating policies that support an inclusive environment. So, ang diversity plan is a strategic document outlining goals and action to ensure a diverse and inclusive workplace. So, ang HR naman or human resources is concrete step taking by to promote diversity such as updating hiring practices, offering cultural sensitivity training, and establishing policies that encourage inclusivity. So next, the passage suggests that HR should offer training on power and privilege to create multicultural workplace. The training should begin by raising awareness among employees, then cover diversity laws and bias discussion, and finally address improvements in HR practices like job analysis, recruitment, and selections. The goal is to view this training as an ongoing conversation that fosters continuous personal and, and professional development. So the example an HR or human resources is team might start with a workshop on recognizing privilege and bias, then move on to discussion about diversity-related laws and conclude with revising recruitment strategies to ensure they support a multicultural environment. Next, to create a multicultural training focused on building cultural knowledge, discussing individual treatment, teaching active listening, rethinking policies, and working on resistance to change. Ensure leadership has a multicultural perspective and includes diverse ethnic backgrounds and traits. This will help reduce stereotyping and promote cultural awareness among employees. Next, the ability to discuss differences and expectations can create a more inclusive environment. Training can help people evaluate their perceptions and emotions, stereotype and expectations. So, for example, a woman derogatory comments to only one group of men can be analyzed. Asking important questions and considering emotions, a stereotype and expectation can help make diversity and multiculturalism work. The University of California, San Francisco Human Resources Department lists this question. So next is equal employment opportunity commissions. The equal forces federal employment discrimination laws protecting individuals from discrimination in various areas of employment. Employers with at least 15 employees are covered under the EEOC, covering hiring, promotion, harassment, training, wage, and benefits. The agency investigates claims, makes findings, and tries to settle them. If unsuccessful, the EEOC can file a lawsuit on behalf of compliance. Companies with over 100 employees must spell out of the EEO form annually, and federal government employees must file the form. A diverse workplace is beneficial for a better, more profitable workplace and better customer service. So next is EEOC federal legislation. The EEOC, a governing body, has enacted legislation on multicultural practices, including Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, which addresses discriminations. Employers can consider bona fide occupational qualifications during the selection process. So, the EEOC enforces laws that protect people from being treated unfairly and at work. So, it applies to companies with 15 or more employees and covers things like hiring, promotion, and pay. The EEOC looks into compliance, tries to fix problems, and go to court if needed. So next is EEOC laws relate specifically to the following and are discussed in detail and so first is age, disability, equal pay, genetic information, national origin, pregnancy, race, color, religion, retaliation, sex, and sexual harassment. So next is age. The Age Discrimination in Employment Act, established in 1967, prohibits age discrimination in employment, covering aspects like hiring, firing, pay, promotions, layoff, training, and fringe benefits. It also prohibits harassment based on age, covering serious, offensive remarks and teasing, not just offhand comments. So, the age discrimination in employment was created in 1967 to protect workers from being treated unfairly because of their age. Next is disability. The Americans with Disabilities Act prohibits discrimination against individuals with disabilities enforced by the EEOC. The law requires employers to provide reasonable accommodation to employees or applicants with disabilities, unless it would cause significant difficulty or expense. Reasonable accommodation includes making the workplace accessible for wheelchair use or providing equipment for hearing or vision impaired individuals. The law does not mandate hiring unqualified individuals but requires them to be qualified for the job and have defined disabilities. So the American with Disabilities Act protects people with disabilities from discrimination at work. Employers must make reasonable changes like adding ramps for wheelchair or providing special equipments para ma-help some employees with disabilities to their jobs. Next, equal pay compensations. The law ensures equal pay for the same work type, addressing gender pay differences. It covers salary, overtime pay, bonus, stock, options, profit sharing, and other bonus plans. Employers cannot reduce wage to equalize pay if inequality is found. So the law ensures that men and women get equal pay for the same work. It covers things like salary, overtime, bonuses, and other benefits. So next is genetic information. The EEOC New 2009 law defined genetic information as family medical information or information about disease or disorder in an individual's family. Employers cannot discriminate against employees with a family history of diabetes or cancer, as this could increase healthcare costs. Employers cannot seek genetic information through requesting, requiring, or purchasing it. However, certain situations allow for non-legal access, such as overhearing an employee discussing a family member's illness, voluntary wellness program, documentation, commercial information, workplace monitoring programs, and maintaining genetic information separate from an employee's regular file. So,
Good morning everyone, my name is Nicolas Pablo and I'm gonna continue the report about Chapter 3, Diversity and Multiculturalism. National origin. It is illegal to treat people unfavorably because they are from a particular country or part of the world, because of their accent, or because they appear to be a particular descent, even they are not. The law protecting employees based on national origin refers to all aspects of employment: hiring, firing, pay, job assignments, promotions, layoffs, trainings, and fringe benefits. An employer can require an employee to speak English only if it is necessary to perform the job effectively. An English-only policy is allowed only if it is needed to ensure the safe or efficient operations of the employer's business. An employer may not base an employment decision on a foreign accent unless the accent seriously interferes with job performance. So, it is illegal for employers to discriminate based on national origin, which includes someone's country of origin, accent, or perceived background. So this protection covers all aspects of employment. Employers can only require English if necessary for job performance or safety, and they can't make decisions based on an accent unless it seriously affects the job. Next is pregnancy. The Pregnancy Discrimination Act, or PDA, added to the Civil Rights Act of 1964, prohibits discrimination against employees due to pregnancy, childbirth, or related medical conditions. It requires employers to treat pregnant employees the same as other temporarily disabled workers, covering aspects like job assignments, pay, and benefits. So it's against the law to treat someone unfairly at work because of their nationality, where they're from, their accents, or even they just seem to be a certain background. So these protections cover all parts of employment, including hiring, firing, pay, promotions, job assignments, and benefits. Employers can only require employees to speak English if it's necessary for the job. An English-only policy is only allowed if it's needed to keep the workplace safe or running smoothly. Also, an employer can't make decisions based on an employee's accent unless the accents make it hard to do the job properly. Next is race or color. This type of discrimination involves treating someone unfairly due to their race or characteristics associated with race, such as texture, skin color, or facial features. It can occur even if the discriminator and the person being discriminated against are of the same race. The EEOC anti-discrimination laws protect not only against such treatment but also cover related issues like hiring, firing, pay, job assignments, promotions, layoffs, training, and benefits. Additionally, protection extends to individuals married to or associated with someone of a particular race or color. So, race or color discrimination is when someone is treated unfairly at work because of their race or physical features, like hair texture or skin color. This can happen even if the person doing the discriminating is the same race. The law also protects people who are connected to someone of a certain race. These protections apply to all parts of a job, including hiring, firing, pay, and promotions. So next is religion. This EEOC provision addresses discrimination based on religious beliefs. It requires employers to reasonably accommodate employees' religious practices, such as flexible scheduling or allowances for religious attire and grooming, unless it would cause undue hardship to the organization. Employees should inform their employers of their accommodation needs, leading to discussions. Employer must consider requests unless they pose safety risks, reduce efficiency, or infringe on other employees' rights. So, religious discrimination involves treating someone unfairly because of their religious beliefs. Employer must take reasonable accommodations for an employee's religious practices, such as allowing flexible scheduling or permitting religious dress unless it would disrupt business operations. Employees should inform their employers of their needs, and the employer should grant the request if it doesn't cause safety issues, decrease efficiency, or affect the rights of others. Next is sex and sexual harassment. Sex discrimination involves unfair treatment based on a person's sex, impacting hiring, firing, pay, job assignments, promotions, layoffs, training, and benefits. It is closely linked to sexual harassment laws, which address unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and the other sexual harassments, whether verbal or physical. Sexual harassment can occur between individuals of any gender and can be male to female, female to male, female to female, or male to male. So, sex discrimination occurs when someone is treated unfairly because of their sex. This applies to all aspects of employment. It also connects to sexual harassment laws, which prohibit unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual behaviors, and other verbal or physical harassment of a sexual nature. Sexual harassment can happen to anyone regardless of their gender and can occur between individuals of any gender combination. Under EEOC laws, it is illegal to retaliate against employees for reporting discrimination. In the Sanders v. Thomas case, Anucha Brownie Sanders, a former New York Knicks employee, was fired after filing sexual harassment claims against coach Isaiah Thomas. The court awarded her over $17 million in damages, holding both Thomas and the organization responsible. This case underscores the serious consequences of sexual harassment and retaliation, emphasizing the importance of understanding these laws and HR practices. So, the EEOC laws make it illegal to fire or demote, harass, or the EEOC laws make it illegal to fire, demote, harass, or retaliate against someone for filing a discrimination complaint, participating in a discrimination proceeding, or complaining about discrimination. Military service. The Uniformed Services Employment and Reemployment Rights Act, or USERR, protect people who serve or have served in the armed forces, reserves, National Guard, or other uniformed services. The Act ensures these individuals are not disadvantaged in their civilian careers because of their service. It also requires they be reemployed in their civilian jobs upon return to service and prohibits discrimination based on past, present, or future military service. So the Uniformed Services Employment and Reemployment Rights Acts protects individuals who serve or have served in the military, including the reserves and National Guard. This law ensures they are not disadvantaged in their civilian careers due to their military service. It also requires that they be reemployed in their civilian jobs when they return from service and prohibits discrimination based on their past, present, or future military service.